Jazzcast Pros.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Healing Her Within. Today, we have an exciting episode for you, and it is very special because we are talking about your second act. This is about the version of you that finally says, I am ready for more. Whether you're feeling the nudge to pivot, rebuild, start over, or finally step into that business idea that's been sitting on your heart, this episode is for you. I want to take a quick opportunity to say thank you to Leslie A.M. Smith for the opportunity to be a speaker on her platform. The Second Act Business Summit was a 6-day virtual learning experience designed to help experienced professionals turn the ideas, passions, and expertise into meaningful second careers or ventures. For more information, make sure that you check out the show notes to learn more about what this virtual summit was all about. And this is my topic. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Leslie Smith, your host of the Second Act Business Summit. Thank you for being here. If you have not yet, you may want to look at that VIP option for you. For just $37, you can access to all of these great videos forever. Plus, you get some freebies that make it well worth your while. The value is well beyond that $37. And so here now, I am with Maryann Rivera-Dannert, and she is the founder and CEO of the Liberated Women's Movement. That is a huge title. I'm certain you live up to it, but tell us more about that, and then we'll get into some questions.
Awesome. So first and foremost, thank you so much for allowing me to be in your space and to be speaking to your community. And hello, listeners and viewers. So the Liberated Women's Movement, yes, I have a coaching business where we focus on empowering women from the inside out. And I also have a podcast where I continue that coaching and that mindset shift, talking about self-doubt, imposter syndrome, with the ultimate goal of healing the inner and teen within us so we can live a liberated life.
Very nice. I love that. And I think that you'll help some men every now and again too.
Yes, I definitely, I do have I don't want to say large following with men, but I know that there are some men that do listen to the podcast. It's on all platforms that we talk about different topics, things that it doesn't necessarily just affect women, but because I am a woman and I have overcome a lot of these different, traumas and adversities, my audience is a little bit more towards women, but I also do speak to men and things like that. Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you. So you males keep watching. So very good. So we're talking about entrepreneurship, and it's so alluring to people like, ooh, be in business for myself. But a lot of people they love the idea, but they'll stay stuck. So you have a differentiation between unready and undecided.
Yes.
So how do you know which camp you're in?
So there's a lot of questions to ask. I'm all about asking questions. I don't know if it's my HR background or being a coach or just being curious, but definitely by asking a lot of questions. And entrepreneurship is often, people see the highlights, especially on social media. You see people, oh, today, this is my office and they're in front of the beach. Or today, here's my office and they're, at a balcony overlooking the LA skyline and things like that. Or they could be traveling the world. But there's a lot of work that comes behind being an entrepreneur. So it's, asking yourself, are you just, chasing the glitz and glamour, what looks good, what you think it may be, or is it something that you truly have a calling for and a purpose, something that you're truly passionate about? So again, it just goes to a lot of questions and ultimately narrowing down your why and being clear on that.
Very well. And I can say I started my business when I was 27, and I shouldn't have, I was too young. I
Mm.
would say I didn't know enough. I didn't have the right kind of experience from where I was coming from to what I was doing. And so, but I did have the safety net of I got married that year.
Yeah.
So there was another income in the household. So, and then I just had, but I wanted to prove myself too. Right. And I think I stuck with it because I was stubborn.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and he's self-employed as well. So
Mm.
there were lots of things you have to learn along the way, right? You're
Yes.
saving, there's no paid vacation. You're saving for that. You're saving for your retirement. There's no 401k matching plan. There's none of that.
Correct.
But the freedom really wins out. Like, and
It does.
I don't go to the beach and work or
I think I've tried, but I get sidetracked by like the waves or people walking and things like that. That is like, yeah, I don't know how some people do it.
yeah, no, the beach is for reading a book.
Yeah.
Which means,
Or taking a nap.
right? We can call it research.
True. Very true.
Now, I will say, I mean, I call it stubbornness, but part of it is probably resilience too.
Yes.
So, and that's one of those things that it's hard to figure out where resilience comes from. You have two people that go through the same amount of trauma, and some come out blooming and resilient and, really headstrong and determined, and others stay stuck. So how does that work? Where does resilience step in?
Yeah, definitely. So resilience is something that is often talked about, is glamorized, but it hasn't been taught.
Mm-hmm.
And resilience is, to me, the way I would describe it, and talk about it, is you facing things, but you are not allowing that trauma, that adversity, that obstacle keep you stuck. Because I think that we all face things, but it's, different. So what is it about that situation that you're facing, that trauma, that hurt, that pain, the bankruptcy, whatever it is that you have faced that you think is keeping you stuck? What are the avenues that you can take to overcome that? Because I think at the end of the day, we all have a choice. Like you mentioned, two people can face the exact same thing, and one person overcomes and moves forward. The other person is still stuck in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's all about mindset.
Okay.
It's all about mindset. It's in believing in yourself, believing in your why, being crystal clear on your values, what you're passionate about, what your purpose is in life, which again, these are things that people talk about, but they don't talk about how do you discover your passion? How do you discover your purpose and things like that?
Right. What Tony Robbins says is simple but not easy. Right. Just change
Correct.
your mind about it. And you
Right.
see that in threads when you just have to change your mindset. You're like, oh, easy for you to say that. And then they come up with all these supports that they assume you have that they don't have, kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah.
And so how do you get around that? Like
Yeah.
I mean, you tell them to flip a switch, but it's not.
It's not a light switch that you
Right.
can easily, that you can see the on and off button. It definitely is not. And as somebody who has been there, as somebody who recently, I want to say July of 2025, walked away from my corporate job, I still have, those doubts. I still question, did I make the right decision? And it's the comfort, we talked, you mentioned earlier, it's the comfort of that steady paycheck when you are in a job.
Mm-hmm.
Every 2 weeks, whether, most jobs pay every 2 weeks. So we just say biweekly. Biweekly, honestly, whether you perform or not, you're going to get a paycheck.
Right.
Most likely you are going to get sick time. You're going to get paid vacations. You're going to get, personal days and things like that. You're going to have insurance. But when you are an entrepreneur, it's that mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
How do you overcome that? How do you flip that switch? Number one, I believe it was Zig Ziglar that said you are the sum of the 5 people that you are most surrounded by.
Mm-hmm.
These 5 people include friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, people who are around you. If you are constantly around people who are complaining, having pity parties, binge drinking, partying, being reckless, you're going to be that 5th person.
Right. Right.
If you are surrounded, however, around people who are motivating, who are grinding, who are doing the work, hustling,
Mhm.
and putting in the hours, because you just don't wake up and, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm making six figures.
Right.
No,
No,
it doesn't happen that way.
freedom takes a lot of work. It's
Yes, it
a
takes a
lot of
lot.
years to be an overnight success,
Correct.
right?
Yes. And
It's
that's the
not.
part that a lot of people either skip over, they don't talk about it, and it gives a false illusion to other people. So making sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who are goal setters, who are driven, who are not just making a list, but they're actually working towards achieving that list. One of the biggest sayings is knowledge is power. I
Hmm.
don't agree with that,
Oh,
because you can read all the books in the world, you can listen to all the podcasts in the world, but if you're not taking action, nothing is
yes.
going to change.
Right. That's a
So
good
knowledge,
point.
yeah, so
Got
knowledge
to put it in
is
there.
power when followed by action. So, once you are surrounding yourself with these people, also, if you are, striving to be an entrepreneur, what kind of entrepreneur? Do you want to do it part-time? Do you want to do it full-time? Is it something that you're going to have a brick and mortar? Are you going to be having, books? Is it going to be digital? And find mentors that are in that field already, in that space, because there are some individuals who will charge to
Hmm.
give you information,
Hmm.
but there are other individuals who will be more than happy to carve out, some time and things like that. And my favorite example was a friend of mine's, John Hewlin, and this was 6 years ago, I want to say. We were having a conversation when I first started my podcast, and he said to me, we're friends. I normally charge, I want to say it was $350,
Good for him.
something like that. I think that was his fee. I can't remember. And he said, but you are my friend. I'm going to gift you an hour. So I
Nice.
need you to write down all the questions that you possibly have.
Come
And
ready, no chit chat.
yes, exactly.
Get right
So
to it.
we hit the ground running, and I had
That's
so
awesome.
many questions. And I appreciated the fact that, number one, he said that. Number
Hmm.
two, there was no question that was off limits. There was no question that was silly or anything like that. And let me tell you, I got my $350 worth,
That's awesome.
because 5 years later, I still have the podcast. So you may find individuals that are willing to pour into you, because once upon a time, they were in your shoes.
Right.
So for
Right.
me, everything that I do, everything that I talk about, especially on my podcast and things like that, is because I wish that I would have had somebody guiding me and leading me and things like that. So,
Yes. And that brand, when I started my business, and this probably helped me jumpstart, and I talk about on it with somebody else I was interviewing about these women who sort of they fostered me, and they were all in
mm,
their second act. They had
yeah,
had other careers. They were over 50. And here I was 27 trying to make sense of things. And I'd go to things, right? Showing up is huge. So I
yeah,
would go to the Chamber of Commerce breakfast every single week. And if
mm,
they had a mixer, I went to the mixer. If they had whatever, I just needed to be with people, figure people
yes,
out, get jobs. And one of them said, well, Leslie, I think I want to rebrand my business, and you can help me with that. We'll barter. And she put me in a small group working through Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
mm,
Okay, I had flipped through that book before and probably, read the titles. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, whatever. It's the stuff in the back chapter,
yes,
right? Each chapter has a bunch of stuff. It's homework.
yeah,
I never did that until I was in that group with her. And that's exactly what you're saying. Like the knowledge is power. Yeah, I have the book. The book's not going to work for me. I have to work it. And so then when I was in that, and we bartered, so I created a new logo for her and helped her design her, flyer. This was in the 90s, so we had a flyer and a brochure. Right? There was no internet website. No, that was all coming up. But you're exactly right. You have to do that work and look for those people who are willing to trade with you until you can afford it. And then, if you can afford a super great coach, hire that coach,
yes,
right? But you don't start there.
correct.
Right. Very
Yeah.
good. Okay. And so we talked about transitioning, and you're maybe still feeling the pangs of, oh, that paycheck. Because invoicing, I will say, is kind of a pain. but it feels good when you hit your goal for that month.
Correct.
So it's sort of like, you're any transition, you have the pangs from the back and how do you honor that process and that, you know, almost a commencement in a way?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
So again, I believe it's being crystal clear on your reasons. Why do you want to start the business? Why do you want to become an entrepreneur? And hopefully it's not because, you want to make all the money in the world, because there are going to be days, there are going to be months that nothing is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And
the
if
Campbell
that's
soup month.
yes, if that, it could be a pack of ramen noodles. And if the reason why you wanted to go into, becoming an entrepreneur is because you want to make all the money in the world, when you get those moments, those months when either invoices are not coming in, they're not being paid, or you're not getting any clients, nobody's buying your products, merchandise, and things like that, you're going to be quicker to make the decision to go back than it is to just continue to pursue your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And, that passion is something that you're doing. And the next thing you know, 4 or 5 hours have passed. And you wonder, like, oh my gosh, where did the day go? When you get lost, in doing something, that's when you know that you are working in your zone of genius. When you get lost, when you think about it and you get excited. If it's something that you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do this again. Oh my gosh, I got to show up again. It's kind of like, well, maybe that's not something that you're truly passionate about.
Right.
And things like that. So it's just continuing to show up, be crystal clear on your why. And for every answer that you get, keep asking why.
Yes.
Okay, I want to do this because I want freedom. Why? Because I want to be home when the kids get home from school. Why? Because I remember when I was younger, I was left alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gen X.
Now, yes. Right. So now we're digging a little deeper. We're digging a little deeper.
Right.
I want to leave a legacy to, my children, my grandchildren. Why? Because, I want to be creating a difference for as long as possible. And I want, the next generation to know who, what I did and what I brought forth and things like that. Why? And things like that. So just continue to ask yourself why until you run out of, reasons. That's when you are crystal clear on it. And then also note what your values are, because your values will help you to say no to things that are going to distract you. Because especially as entrepreneurs, when you are, whether you're just starting out, whether you're wondering if this is something that you want to do, if you're serious about it, your mindset, again, we talked about this earlier, it needs to shift. However, this is your dream. This is not your husband's dream. This is not your best friend's dream. This is not your parents' dream. This is not anybody else's dream. This dream is yours. So when you get those invitations like, oh, let's go to happy hour, or, let's go on vacation next week, or let's go here, let's go shopping, you have to be able to stand firm and know what you stand for. And that is going to be your North Star, keeping you moving forward.
And that's so hard. And I want to get back to why, because why is really, it's a critical word. If I said, why is that drape purple? You feel that I'm asking you something critical instead of, oh, tell me how you chose purple. So when you're asking yourself why, you feel like you're really being mean to yourself. Like, well, why, Leslie? Why? Mm-hmm. And so know that that's normal. You go through that and it's hard and you have to force yourself to stay in that conversation to keep going. Yes.
Yeah. And that's why also having a mentor is important, or a business coach, it could be somebody that's, again, a mentor that's paid, or you can get connected with different networking groups and, small business organizations and things like that, that will help you and guide you, and you can bounce your ideas off of, and that will keep you on course.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. You don't go it alone.
Definitely not.
Yeah. There's lots of great stuff. So what about fear? Yes,
My favorite word.
the fear of the unknown is it's very uncomfortable. What if, what if, what if?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Does it just go away?
It does not just go away. And instead of asking, what if I fail? What if I succeed?
Mm.
And fear of the unknown, it's unknown because you haven't been there.
Mm-hmm.
But it only lasts for a snap of them, like snap your fingers. Once you step into it, guess what? It's no longer unknown.
Sure.
So you just have to face it. For a lot of people, and I have talked about this before, a lot of people, fear stands for false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
For
Mm-hmm.
me, fear stands for feeling empty, abandoned, and rejected.
Oh, wow.
So if I don't pursue that dream, if I don't pursue that goal, if I don't pursue that desire, I'm going to be left feeling empty, abandoned, and rejected.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm doing it to myself, not somebody else. So asking yourself again, what is it about this scares me? Where did this fear come from?
Yes.
Was it something that, actually happened to me or something that I saw either on TV or social media? Or was it passed down to me from those that raised us, whether it's biological parents or whomever? Was that fear passed down to you? And be gentle with yourself. There's a reason why that fear, why that feeling exists. So don't ignore it. Don't push it to the side because believe me, it is going to keep reappearing until you stop and face it and deal with it.
Well said. Yes, it festers
It does.
and it can
Yeah.
do real damage to your not just your mindset, but your physical body as well.
Yes, yeah. And the thing about it is, when you do body scans, so, where's this fear? Where am I feeling this fear? Is it, in my head? Are you getting headaches? Are you getting migraines and things like that? Is your eye twitching? Or, am I feeling it in my throat? Am I afraid to use my
To
voice? Are you getting
speak, yes.
scratchy? Yes. Am I feeling it in my heart? Am I feeling it in my stomach? Am I feeling it in my hips, my legs? Where are you feeling it? Your shoulders? Are you kind of like, I have this goal, this dream? Or are you, I have this goal and this dream? So listen to your body and just tune into it and things like that. Do, some movements, work through it and things like that. And again, that fear, it's only until you face it, and until you take that first step forward. And then you can be like, oh, I was not afraid of that. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. But again, because it was something that it was passed down to us, which again, there's, some legitimate reasons for that fear being there, but you have to work through it.
Mm-hmm. I get that. I can relate that. All right, to relate to that. So yeah, so that leads us to like, what does it mean? Build as you're ready, because it feels like that fear of starting your own business and letting go of all of the constants and everything that your parents may have told you. You have to have a good job and work there for 50 years and get a gold watch.
Yeah.
And it feels like a leap, but
Right.
maybe it's just a step,
Yeah.
right? Maybe there's a bridge right there and you just didn't even know. So how do people shake the feeling of all, I need to have this much in my bank account and I need to have this, and just build as you're ready?
Yeah. So definitely, I will say that the first step is again, so you've already narrowed down your why, you're crystal clear on your purpose. You've narrowed down, your values, what you stand for. So getting ready, number one, learn everything that you can about the industry that you're trying to get into.
Mm,
You know that on a personal level, you have to have health insurance. So if you're
yes,
somebody
you
that's
do.
a little younger, or even if you are, older, right now, if you have a job and you have health insurance, know that whatever your health insurance is, 9 times out of 10, preventative care is free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So get your physicals, Get your physicals now, make that appointment, get your dental work done. If you're a woman, get your mammograms, get your pap smears. If you're a man, do those manly, appointment
Prostate
things that
exam.
you have to get done. Check your ears, check your eyesight, get all that stuff done now, sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, look at your debt. If you have debt, that is something that you need to start working on, slowly chipping at it away. And then also look at the fun things that you currently do that you may have to sacrifice, but it's not a long-term sacrifice. It's a short-term sacrifice. So if you eat out 5 to 6 days a week, we talked earlier about ramen noodles and Chef Boyardee and, things like that.
Yep.
Campbell soup. You might have to do that for about 3 to 6 months so you can save some money. How much money do you actually need? It depends because every industry is different. But knowing what, taxes are, what tax bracket you're in, because the IRS does not care what your dreams are, what your goals are. They want their money. Exactly. So making sure that you have that. Some industries, some businesses, they require licenses. So how much are these licenses? Do you have to be certified? You need insurance. Is it going to be a brick and mortar, or is it something that's going to be, virtual, or you can run it from your home for the time being? So I heard before, and I hope I remember, once I say the word, I hope I remember the acronym, that everyone needs to have bail. So B is for your banker. The A is for accountant. I is for insurance. And the L is for your lawyer. Have a lawyer. Good. And things like that. So make sure that you have your team. So you have your coaches, you have your mentors, you have your business coach, but you need to also have these people in your back pocket because they're going to help you, not lose money. They're going to make sure that you are covered properly and things like that. And then start putting feelers out. Don't wait until, hey, here's my business, grand opening. Start pulling feelers away, putting feelers out again so you can start, dabbing into it now before you walk away from, your job.
Good advice. Yes. Yes. You have to know if you like it before you're all in.
Yes.
And those are great steps for getting set up. Yeah. So I love that. Now you have a free gift that's called From Security to Sovereignty. Yes. You want to tell us a little bit about that? And people can click on it on this page.
Yes, definitely. So it is a resource that is for the individual who feels that calling. They feel that, okay, this is something that I want to do. I am ready. You're asking yourself questions. If you're wondering, I want to open this business, but I am unsure. It helps you to narrow down, to get those questions out of your head and on paper so you can be clear on what it is that you want to do next. Nice. It is a free resource. It is something that you can work on either at one sitting or you can take your time. This is something that, you don't want to rush through it and things like that. And the biggest, thing is take a chance. You're asking yourself, what if? What if I fail? What if I don't make it? People are going to think that I'm a fool. I'm going to feel like I've let, my family down. I've let myself down. But the thing is, you are never going to know, and you're always going to be wrestling with those thoughts until you actually take a chance.
Mm-hmm. You try. Yes. Yes. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Maryann. This has been wonderful. Those of you watching at home or in your office or from a balcony with the LA skyline or at the beach, just click on that download and get that blueprint for yourself. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I want to thank Leslie A.M. Smith for the opportunity to have been a guest on her summit. And this second act is a powerful experience designed for individuals who are ready to stop surviving and start creating a life and business that actually reflects who they've become. Because your story didn't end when things got hard. That was just the turning point. And make sure that you check out the show notes for more information and to grab a copy of the free resource that was available to all the listeners of the actual summit. And one last thing, this is a disclaimer. The information shared in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and it's not a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. I am not a licensed therapist or counselor. If you're dealing with mental health or emotional challenges, please seek support from a qualified professional or a licensed counselor. Have a beautiful day.